the field. But time is precious, so I gotta keep it real. Bringing out the words, speaker rockin', got Big Bro on the post. I got a script for every single thing I say. Brothers in the well, pull it up, say they like what we quote. But ain't no need for you to bring it my way. Hold up, wait, you pushing the dope. You're hogging the block. The niggas you know, they busting the shots. You tell me to chill, I'm making it hot. I'm telling the truth, you want me to stop? Know you feel away, but can you tell? You've been running from the truth on the rail. Know you feel away, but can you tell? See you angry in your heart, oh well. Haters gonna run it up. You don't want no problem, don't bring it around me. Now you gonna burn it up. Should've fixed your problem when you came around me. Know you feel away, but can you tell? You've been running from the truth on the rail. Know you feel away, but can you tell? See you angry in your heart, oh well. Haters gonna run it up. You don't want no problem, don't bring it around me. Now you gonna burn it up. Should've fixed your problem when you came around me. Now you feel away.
These brothers in the street, they moving like children. Saying that they hot, but they really soft like women. I don't see the point in dealing with them that I started. They send me to the one who's heading like a hundred. Father, forgive them. They don't know they don't know the difference. I'm trying to show the way, but we telling you the truth. But you don't want the life, so what are you
Know you
gonna
feel
do?
away, can you tell? You've been running from the truth on the rail. Know you feel away, can you tell? See you angry in your heart, oh well. Haters gonna run it up. You don't want no problem, don't bring it around me. Now you gonna burn it up. Should've fixed your problem when you came around me. Know you feel away, but can you tell? You've been running from the truth on the rail. Know you feel away, but can you tell? See you angry in your heart, oh well. Haters gonna run it up. You don't want no problem, don't bring it around me. Now you gonna burn it up. Should've fixed your problem when you came around me. Now you feel away.
Tell me how you holding up, yeah. Tell me how you holding up, yeah. I ain't know what you doing. Please don't put me through it. Tell me how you holding up, yeah. Yeah. You done gone around the way now. You done gone around to see. You've been looking for the true love, and you found it right with me. You can go around the city, you can go across the sea. Ain't nobody gonna love you with the love I showed you there. Hold up. I know what you're going through. Hold up. Wasn't personal, ain't that you? I know what you plan to say. Don't gotta take it out on me. Don't hate me when you see me. Keep it real, keep it 103, keep it there. Don't hate me when you see me. Keep it real, keep it 100. Don't worry about that. You my brother, I know it. I ain't worried about that. That's love, I know it. I know what you're going through. Wasn't personal, ain't that you? I know what you plan to say. Don't gotta take it out on me. Oh damn. Oh man. I'ma take the lead so you can follow. It's what it feels to bring the bottom.
Pick it up, yeah. Dance on the floor, breaking it down. Pick it up, yeah. Whoa, look at the groom, look at the bride. We pick it up, yeah. Group of the friends, family around, they drinking up, yeah. They drinking up, they pick it up, yeah. Look at the groom, look at the bride, they pick it up, yeah. Dancing around on the floor, round and around, they pick it up. They pick it up, you doing it right, you pick it up, yeah. Pick it up when the sun coming down, you know it's time. I ain't turning back. I've been thinking about tonight. I've been counting the moons up to the day. Now I'm on the way. I don't wanna waste no time. Cause I keep going through the pages, flipping like I'm going through the phases. Even when they tell me that I'm crazy, waiting on the Lord, cause that's what faith is. It's called patience, patience, yeah. I need patience, patience. Back on the road, don't know the way, you know. Show me the way, don't know the way, you know it. I don't know where I'm going. Oh Lord, I'm waiting for you. Are you waiting for me to get right? Cause you've been hiding from me. There you are, you wouldn't lie. You said you'd come back and show me all your mysteries. Misery, yeah, you spread us out just for a while. You drop us down, you pick it up, yeah. Dance on the floor, breaking it down, pick it up, yeah. Whoa, look at the groom, look at the bride, we pick it up, yeah. Group of the friends, family around, they drinking up, yeah. They drinking up, they pick it up, yeah. Look at the groom, look at the bride, they pick it up, yeah. Dancing around on the floor, round and around, they pick it up, they pick it up, you doing it right, you pick it up, yeah. You pick it up, yeah. Look at the groom, look at the bride, the key to her heart, the light in my eyes. So long we was wrong, let's do the right. The covenant ring, subscription applied. No time to waste, the chat outside. Let's hop in the ride and take to the sky. Fall from the dust, she came from my side to give you the sense that means she was mine. Fleeing from singer, that antidote. My love, she as sweet as a cantaloupe. If she a dragon, a bandit hope. Father, I pray that I'm ravished in love like an antelope. I prove to avoid all that damage though, so I'm contented on keeping the hope. Impatient possess she is soul. Or 44 coming and still a little more time to go. Oh damn, it's about time we can hold hands. Fingers in the twine where we slow dance. Turn the music loud, play the slow jams. Oh man, go you. Keep it to the laws, breaking no rules. Being shamefaced like you're supposed to. I praise to my father cause he chose you. I'ma take the lead so you can follow. It's according to the law, it's not bravado. It's a way to feast, so bring the bottle. Yeah, there's moments sweeter than some pink Moscato. Turn to the Lord, no more to haul it. We was creatures of the night, but now we starlit. And perfect to the law, so he cut us off, repentant from the draw. So now we flawless, flawless. Yeah, now we flawless, flawless. Now we flawless, flawless. Israel, now we flawless. Yeah, you spread us out just for a while. You drop us down, you pick it up. Yeah, dance on the floor, breaking it down, pick it up. Yeah, whoa, look at the groom, look at the bride, we pick it up. Yeah, group of the friends, family around, they drinking up. Yeah, they drinking up. They pick it up. Yeah. Look at the groom, look at the bride, they pick it up, yeah. Dancing around on the floor, round and around, they pick it up. They pick it up, you doing it right, you pick it up, yeah. You pick it up, yeah.
New Jerusalem, we had a wedding on a new wave, new wave. New Jerusalem, we had a wedding on a new wave, new wave, new wave.
Yeah. Front line. Gotta hold on cause it's wartime, yeah. Gentiles, hold your head down, it's crunch time. Tuesday, heard they going up on a Tuesday. No. Saturday, better turn it up, it's a feast day. Go, I'ma go down to the party. You can stay 5 in the morning, with the wise man 5 in the morning. Do you got garments on, it's on, you can bring a friend along, just coming to the party. You can be beside me, but I never let nobody stand in my way, yeah. Back on the road. Way, you know, show me the way, don't know the way, you know it. Yeah, you spread us out just for a while. You drop us down, you pick it up. Yeah, dance on the floor, breaking it down, pick it up. Yeah, look at the groom, look at the bride, we pick it up. Yeah, group of the friends, family around, they drinking up. Yeah, they drinking up.
Shalom, family. Shalom, shalom. Most High Christ bless. Most High Christ bless. Hey, welcome to Daily Bread. All right. So let's go ahead and send up prayers first, and then we'll get started. We got a lot to talk about Israel. A lot. All right. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. O Heavenly Father, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, we come before you today for thanksgiving. Give you thanks for giving us life in these last days and giving us leaders to show us the way in these last days to follow after your law, statutes, and commandments. We also send up prayers for the protection of the brothers and sisters that may be traveling today, that you send your angels of protection over them. Also send your angels of healing over the brothers and sisters that have any physical or mental ailments. We also pray for the destruction of the enemy, that through us keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, we're able to see the pining away and the slow decay of our enemies that have destroyed us for these many years. We also send up prayers for the remission of sin. Any sins dealing with lust, envy, covetousness, drunkenness, hatred, malice, evil speaking, that you remove those far from us today. In your mighty Son, name Jesus the Christ, we pray. Amen. All right. All right. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, Israel. Most High Christ bless. Most High Christ bless. All right. So I'm Officer Keaton out of Birmingham camp. Hey, we got a good class today. We got a lot to talk about, too. So it's Daily Bread, and the name of the class is the Degenerate Plant. All right. So you already know where it is going, Israel. You already know. It's about to get a little gritty. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, I wanna open up first with Romans 15:4. Shout out to Deacon IBL for this scripture. All praise to the Most High. I love opening up with it. I love it. All right, get that when you get it, sir. Get it. Romans
Romans
chapter 15, verse 4.
chapter 15, and verse 4.
Uh-huh.
For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning.
So the things that was written before we was born in this life was written for our learning, meaning written for us to learn from, to gain a lesson from. Can you read it?
That through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope.
So now we have to have patience and comfort of the scriptures. Patience is a skill, because to be patient, you have to go through things without complaints. A lot of us, we love complaining about the things that we're going through and not really enjoying the process. When you start to enjoy the process and understand why you're going through what you're going through to make you a better version of yourself, to understand that you have to apply God's laws in certain areas and merits of your life, you'll understand that, yes, that will build your patience. And then it will also show you comfort because you understand why things are happening the way they're happening. All right. Is that it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we got to get into it. Hey, officer, get me, you got to get me a picture of a moon pie. You got to get me a picture of a oatmeal cream pie. Had that waiting later. I can't look at these things the same, Israel. All right, so let's go to Isaiah 5 and 7. Isaiah 5 and 7. Let's build, Israel.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 5 and verse 7.
Uh-huh.
For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel.
So this is a similitude. It's showing you that the vineyard of the Lord is the house of Israel. All right. Finish that out.
And the men of Judah his pleasant plants.
Uh-huh.
And he looked for judgment, but behold, oppression. For righteousness, but behold, a cry.
So the Lord looks for the judgment of his laws, but there's oppression. Why? For oppression to happen in the nation of Israel, there must be sin. As a nation, that means that the evils are not being called out. They're not being talked about with the prophets. They're not being corrected by the people. All right, jump over to give me Jeremiah now. Jeremiah 2:21. Let's show why we got to start it off, because remember, Israel, I'm saying that, yeah, the scriptures is going to go into how we are a degenerate plant. So that when we go into the how, that's the small little things that make us degenerate. All right, read that.
Jeremiah chapter 2 and verse 21.
Read.
Yet I have planted thee in noble vines, holy and right seed. How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant?
So now the Lord is saying, I planted you a noble vine. How did you turn into a degenerate plant? Give me the definition of degenerate. How did you turn into a degenerate plant? Like, if you look up the definition of how, Israel, how constitutes the steps taken from one extreme to another. Every time you look up how, it's going to tell you this little micro steps that was taken for you to get to one extreme to the next. It just doesn't go from 0 to 100, because there's numbers between 0 to 100. So you have to go through these little steps to then become degenerate. So let's look up what degenerate means.
Degenerate. Having lost the physical, mental, or moral qualities considered normal and desirable.
So if we lost the physical and mental moral qualities of things that are what's that last part? Desirable?
Yes, sir.
That are desirable. That means we lost our God-given minds. We have totally lost all morality. Now, since we lost morality, we're no different from the animals, because all you could do is be strung up and then controlled, because now you have no morals. So read that again in Jeremiah.
Jeremiah chapter 2 and verse 21.
Uh-huh.
Yet I had planted thee a noble vine, holy and right seed. How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant? of a strange vine unto me.
So now the Lord is saying that you have turned into a degenerate plant, meaning you're debased. You lost all your morality. And then it's a strange vine unto me, meaning that we went against God's commandments. And how debased have we become? Just think about that, Israel. How debased? How far does the niggerdom go? How far does it go? All right. Now, give me that article pertaining to Bacchus. Give me that. Because this is how far we went into our degeneracy. I'm going to show you, Israel, how far we went. Get that real quick. All right, go ahead. I just want the, you can just read the purple part. That's it.
Bacchus was the Roman god of architecture, wine, and fertility, equivalent to the Greek god Dionysus.
So wait a minute. So we were reading about a god, a false deity, that is based around architecture, wine, and what's the last one? Fertility. So there's many different deities throughout our history in the Bible that pertains to wine and fertility, or drunkenness and fertility. Back in the ancient times, you had Ashtaroth. Then you had, in the Greek and Roman time, you had Diana. Even before then, you had Hathor in Egypt. You had Nut in Egypt. Nut was the queen of the sky. So all these deities, even though the name may change, it's still the same deity. Read that again.
Bacchus was the Roman god of agriculture, wine, and fertility.
So agriculture, not architecture, but agriculture. With that being agriculture, that's Hathor from Egypt. When we was coming out of Egypt, the Lord our God had to destroy these different facets of the Egyptian economy because their gods were centered around each of their things in their economy. So he had to destroy each of these things to show us that he was real, to show us that they were fake. But I'm showing you that this same ideology, this same mindset came from way back when, all the way from Neo-Babylon with Nimrod. And now we seeing that they just put another name on it. Hathor was the god of beauty and of agriculture and of fertility. So this is the Edomites' version of Hathor, Bacchus. Finish it out.
Bacchus was the Roman god of agriculture, wine, and fertility, equivalent to the Greek god Dionysus. He often seen with vine of grapes with him.
So the vine of grapes represents the wine, the drunkenness, right?
Dionysus was said to be the last god to join the 12 Olympians. Supposedly, Hestia gave up her seat for him.
Okay, keep reading because it goes into Jupiter. I want that part.
His plants were vines and twirling ivy. He carried a pine cone top staff, and his followers were goat-footed satyrs and maenads.
So you see that? Now his followers were the goat-footed centaurs. That's the half man, half horse. So now we seeing where we get all these things from. Keep reading.
Wild women who danced energetically.
What? Wait, what type of women?
Wild women.
Wow. Women that dance how?
Energetically.
Energetically. That's twerking. That's the twerking scene. That's dancing sexually to try to seduce a man to lay down with. So they was dancing wild even back then. Read.
During his festivals. Bacchus is the son of Jupiter.
The son of who?
Jupiter.
So now we see that Bacchus is related to Jupiter, and it's all going down the same form of worship, which is debauchery, is drunkenness and whoredom. That's where it's going down into. Now let's get the scriptures. go to 2 Maccabees chapter 6, start at verse 1. Start at verse 1 because it says that Bacchus is the son of Jupiter, right? Let's see. Let's see something. Let's go to 2 Maccabees chapter 6, and we're going to start at verse 1.
2 Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 1. Not long after this, the king sent an old man to Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers and not to live after the laws of God.
So you see how our enemies, you see how Esau thinks. They send the older men, the older, weak, and scary men that don't want to stand up for their nation. They send them to try to seduce the young. This is happening even today. We're going to get further into it, but this is happening today. Keep reading.
Verse 2. And to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter.
The temple of who?
Jupiter Olympius.
So now we understand that it's the same deity. Now that they took over our temple, now they're going to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympus. We just read that Bacchus was the son of Jupiter. So let's see what they were doing in our temple. Read.
And that in Garism of Jupiter, the defender of the strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in that place. The coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people.
Read.
For the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles.
You see this? Now our holy temple was filled with rioting and reveling of the Gentiles. So these are unclean nations, the heathen nations, coming into our temple, rioting and reveling. And let's see what they was doing in their riot and their revel. Read.
Who dallied with harlots.
That did what?
Who dallied with harlots.
That mess with whores, harlots, hoes, wild women. We just read about wild women. Read.
And had to do with the women within the circuit of the holy places.
Read.
And besides that, brought in things that were not lawful.
Like what? Read.
The altar also was filled with profane things which the law forbiddeth. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
So you see this? You see the debauchery now? And what was the steps? The first step was there was an old man that probably respected, an old man that got word from the king, and at this time it was King Antiochus. At this time, this old man came to us, presented this idea that we need to join the heathen and their ways. So now we were seduced by the elderly. Then, while we're seduced, we let our guard down and let some of their abominations in. Now, and of course, this was it was subtle. Then how Esau works is through force. It works subtle, then they force it on you. Then we see the debauchery of they started to bring in unclean things. Then they started to mess around with wild women in our temple. So there's always steps to the madness. So now they mess with the wild women. Let's see what else happens. Keep reading.
Verse 7.
Yes, sir.
And in the day of the king's birth, every month they were brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices.
So those sacrifices was unclean foods, unclean meats. Read.
And when the feast of Bacchus was kept.
The feast of who?
Bacchus was kept.
Which was the son of Jupiter. It's all going down the same vein. Read.
The Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus, carrying ivy.
So now you see that we was compelled, meaning now we're forced to celebrate these heathenistic customs. At this time, we was forced. And then what did we do while we was forced? Keep reading.
Verse 8. Moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor cities of the heathen by the suggestion of Ptolemy against the Jews, that they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sacrifices.
This is democracy. This is that same ideology of democracy, but with religion. Keep reading.
And whoso would not conform themselves to the manner of the Gentiles
Uh-huh.
should be put to death.
So our brothers and sisters now are forced to keep these unclean Hellenistic customs. Now you're forced by your life. If you don't keep it, you're going to be put to death. But let's see what happened. Keep reading.
Then might a man have seen the present misery.
Uh-huh.
For there were 2 women brought, who had circumcised their children, whom when they had openly led round about the city, the babes hanging at their breasts, they cast them down headlong from the wall.
So now you see that there were certain of the women that was trying to keep the law, trying to keep their customs, and they were put to death. Even with the children on their breasts, they was put to death. It was cast off headlong. So now we see at this time, it got introduced to us with, of course, with wise and slick words. Then it got forced upon us. Once our guard was down, then now it's forced upon us. Now it's going against God's commandments. And some of us was rebelling against it, and we died in the process. But now we do this willingly, because we just read that Bacchus was the god of agriculture. He's the god of wine and reveling. So what comes with that? We're reading that whores come with that. Drunkenness come with that as well. And the debasement. So let's see. Now we was fighting for our life at one point in time to keep God's law. Some of us went headlong into the wickedness, but you also had some of us that was fighting to keep God's law, and we would die for it. But let's see. Now we just willingly go into our evil. Now jump over to Sirach 31. Sirach 31:16. So now we just went into the physical manifestation of drunks and whores being made at this time. It was what? During the procession of Bacchus, which is very similar to Bacchanal, which is very similar to Mardi Gras. It's all the same thing. It's debasement. So at these, before we get there, you know what? Yeah, just get there first, because we got to go into if Bacchus, Mardi Gras, Carnival, those soca festivals, all this is all the same deity that they're worshiping, if they know it or not. They're worshiping the same deity by another name. Read that.
Sirach chapter 31 and verse 16.
Uh-huh.
Eat as it becometh a man
Read.
those things which are set before thee, and devour not, lest thou be hated. Leave off first for manner's sake.
So this is just going into manners of dietary law. So Israel, this is going into dietary laws. So not to be that glutton that's eating everything that you see. You're on a seafood diet. That's actually a part of our dietary laws, not to overeat, not to overindulge in what you're eating. That's a law, even though it may be lawful to eat chicken. It may be lawful to eat goat and beef. But if you overindulge, you're breaking the dietary law. It's that simple. So we got to follow all the law, Israel. Not just, I'm keeping the dietary law by eating in quantity. It don't matter what I eat, but I'm eating according to what God told me to eat. No, you got to eat in moderation too. All right. If we got to drink in moderation, you got to eat in moderation as well. All right. Keep reading.
Verse 17.
Uh-huh.
Leave off first for manner's sake, and be not unsatiable, lest thou offend. When thou sittest among many, reach not thine hand out first of all.
Uh-huh.
A very little is sufficient for a man well nurtured, and he reaches not his, and he fetches not his wind short upon his bed.
So it is really just showing you really don't have to eat so much. You don't. And then that fetching your wind upon your bed is that bad gas, or that gas you be having while you sleep, the pains of the belly. You're not supposed to be feeling like that when you go to bed. You're not supposed to be having flatulence while you're asleep. You're not supposed to be doing that. That means you're overeating. You're not supposed to do that, Israel. Keep reading.
Verse 20. Sound sleep cometh of moderate eating.
Read.
He riseth early, and his wits are with him. But the pain and watching of choler and pangs of the belly are with an unsatiable man.
So why did I come here? Why did I use these scriptures? Because at these feasts and festivals of these unclean gods, there's a lot of overeating and a lot of eating of unclean foods. Now let's pull up the oatmeal cream pies. Shout out to Mobile. Shout out to Mobile. Look at that. Look at that. Moon pies. Then the oatmeal cream pies. And the what else? The ramen noodles. These things, think about it, Israel. At these feasts and festivals, they're giving you unclean foods. These foods are the worst snacks you can ever eat. I'm just be real. I can't tell you how long it's been since I even touched a moon pie, an oatmeal cream pie. It's been some time. But these are like, they have the high fructose corn syrup in there, causing diabetes, causing all type of health ailments, and they all are giving this out at these festivals, especially Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras in Mobile was off the chain, because I never in my life seen anybody pass out oatmeal cream pies, moon pies, whole boxes now, and ramen noodles. And then it was the what is that, Dollar General ramen noodle. You didn't go to the Moab spot to get your ramen, because they have Moab stores here. Even in Birmingham, they have Moab stores that is specially made ramen. That's totally different from the ramen they sell over here in the States. The ramen that we eat is not edible. It's really not even supposed to be eaten. And I'm talking about the Roma that you get in Walmart, that you get at the Dollar Tree and all that stuff. It's bad on your intestines. It's very bad on your intestines. Not even to be edible. But let's keep reading. Let's keep reading. So now we understand that in these feasts, they encourage you to eat whatever you want to eat. They encourage you to eat whatever you want. Whatever you see, you can eat it. Read. Let's go to Sirach 31:27 now. So now we understand in these festivals, they tell you to eat anything. It don't matter what you eat. Just eat it and have a good time. But let's see what else they profess at these festivals. Read that.
Sirach chapter 31, verse 27. Wine is as good as life to a man, if it be drunk moderately.
You see that? Those two-letter words, if. That means it's conditional. If it be drunk moderately. So wine is good to a man's life if drunk moderately. Keep reading.
What life is then to a man that is without wine? For it was made to make men glad.
That was the purpose of wine, to make men glad, right? But let's keep reading.
Wine measurably drunk and in season bringeth gladness of the heart and cheerfulness of the mind.
So this is the proper way to drink wine. It says wine measurably drunk, right? Or drink, drunk. So if it's measurably drunk, that means that you have to have a form of constraint. You got to have a cutoff window. Okay, I can only take 2 beers. That's it. I can only take 2 glasses of wine. I'm good. Or two wine glasses full of wine, and I'm good. It's a cutoff point, not a person that says, "Oh, I have a high tolerance of wine," and then they down an entire bottle in less than an hour. They just down the whole bottle. No, that's a problem. That is a huge problem. Keep reading though. Let's continue with this.
Verse 29. But wine drunken in excess maketh bitterness of the mind.
So now we got the two paradigms. We got the two sides. Wine drunken moderately is good for the mind. It has benefits. But now we're going into drinking wine in excess. It makes bitter your mind. Let's keep going. Let's see what else it does.
But wine, verse 29, but wine drunken in excess maketh bitterness of the mind with brawling and quarreling.
Read.
Drunkenness increases the rage of a fool till he offend. It diminishes strength and maketh wounds.
So you see the effects of wine in the negative context. If you drink it excessively, you're going to be a brawling idiot, wanting to fight anything that moves, talking all the cash money. And don't they call it courage juice? It's called courage juice because now you think you are that man. You think you that guy when you're in that wine. Because what was the real purpose of wine? To make men glad. But now you feeling yourself when you're over excessed in it. You're really feeling yourself. You think that you're strong, but it says it diminishes your strength. It makes you weak. And with your strength weakened, now your vision is impaired. Your balance is off. All these things go into the weakness of what wine, excess of wine does. Keep reading.
Verse 30. Drunkenness increases the rage of a fool till he offend.
So it's going to increase that man, that courage. What was that? The cowardly lion? The courage. It increases that. And now you think you can say anything to anybody. You feel emboldened to talk any type of way. Read.
It diminisheth strength and maketh wounds.
How does it make wounds? How does the spirit the spirit of wine make wounds? Because you got to think about it. Why do they call it spirits? The spirit that you try to put on yourself when you drink wine is jovialness. But now we're actually seeing the spirit or the attribute that you put on yourself when you overindulge in it is anger, aggression, and irrational thinking. So now you get to this irrational thinking phase. How do you get wounds? You either get wounds by talking cash money and somebody cash out on your face, or you stumbling and fumbling and then you fall down, bust your head on the side of the sidewalk, the floor, or tumble down the stairs because you're so impaired. You're so drunk that you can't even stand up. You should not be living that way, especially us, Israel. When I was in the world, they used to call that white boy wasted. You never got white boy wasted. And that was you get drunk as a skunk. Then you go through the dry heaving phase. That's where your body's trying to expel all the toxins that you just drunk, and nothing is coming out. Then you don't learn your lesson, then you drink some more. That's white boy wasted. That's crazy, Israel. We're not supposed to be living like this. We're not supposed to be in the midst of drunkenness where you don't know what day you're in. You don't even know what happened the night before. You should not be drinking to that caliber. There's nothing in this earth that the scriptures can't fix. There's nothing that you're going through that's that hard that you got to drink yourself into a stupor. There's nothing that hard. Most of the time, you just got to talk about the issue and work it out with the scriptures. That's it. That's where what I read in Romans 15:4. Let's get there again. Hold that, though, in Sirach. But let's get Romans 15:4. Let's remind Israel, what is the purpose of this book? What is the purpose? Because we're reading in Sirach or Ecclesiasticus. So we had to go to the past to see, okay, here's some wisdom that our forefathers is leaving us in this life that we need to live by. Read that.
Romans chapter 15 and verse 4.
Uh-huh.
For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning,
Uh-huh.
that we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope.
And that patience is the key. That's what I want. It actually is a skill to be a patient brother or sister. That means whatever you're going through, now you work it out with counsel and through the scriptures. It's that simple. It really is. We just we complicate things with trying to rationalize and trying to explain, like, you don't know what I'm going through. And no, everything either goes down through two extremes. If a man or woman is drinking wine, if I understand based off the Bible, we just read that wine was made to make men glad, then that means that they're at a low point. I understand that. I understand they're at a low point. They're trying to get glad, but then they overdo it. And when you overdo it, it leads to the brawling. Now, all the pains that you had inside are now coming out. And now you're acting irrational on these said pains and trauma that you experienced in your life. And these are the things that we're not supposed to do. This is why we are debased. Now we have bad food practices. Then we're drinking ourselves into a stupor. Let's go back to Sirach. Let's finish it out. Verse 31.
Sirach, chapter 31.
Well, no. We're going to start, read 30 again. I'm sorry. We're going to stop at 30. Read 30 again.
Sirach, chapter 31 and verse 30. Drunkenness increases the rage of a fool till he offend. It diminishes strength and maketh wounds.
So it diminishes the strength, meaning make him weak, and it makes wounds, whether him stumbling or him getting beat up because now he's trying to push on somebody else's wife. He's trying to talk about somebody's mama that died the other day. Now you're going to get the judgment. Now, let's keep reading. 31. Read that.
31. Rebuke not thy neighbor at the wine, and despise him not in his mirth.
Read.
Give him no despiteful words, and press not upon him with urging him to drink.
So that urging him to drink is encouraging him to drink more and more. And I know you probably, whoever hasn't, it was an old movie called Animal House or House Party, but they were of course it was Edomites. They was all in togas and all this stuff, and they're drinking, and they was doing the same weird practices of Bacchus. And they was drinking, and then they had the keg up and telling the man, chug, chug, chug. We're not supposed to encourage our brothers and sisters to try to drink each other under the table. That is not a game to play, because now you playing with fire. Now somebody's going to get stupid drunk, and somebody's household is about to get embarrassed. We just got to think about these things. These are these micro steps that we're taking. We're taking bad practices by serving these other gods. With serving these other gods come their dietary law, which go against God's dietary law. It goes into their sexual laws that go against God's ordinance about sex. It all breaks God's law, all of it. Now you're dealing with harlots, you're getting drunk, don't know what happened the night before. This is what the heathen do. This is why we are considered a peculiar nation to God. This is why God asked that question in Jeremiah 2. You was a notable vine. How did you become a degenerate plant? This is how. We started to find our ways serving the other nations and practicing their drinking habits, practicing their eating habits. And now we find ourselves far from God. Is that it, soldier? You finished that out? 31?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's go to Isaiah 5:11. Isaiah 5:11. So again, Israel, this is the physicalness of being drunk, being an overeater, and all this stuff is practiced at Bacchanal, Carnival, what they call them? Carnival babies. That the sexual immorality of married women that will sleep around with random men. They're married now. They'll sleep around with married men just to have a baby. And what do you think they did in old time with those babies born or conceived out of those festivals, out of those orgies? Those were the babies that were sacrificed unto those false gods. What do they do today? There's something called abortions. They do abortions You don't think that they're sacrificing that to the gods? Then when they do abort those babies, what do they do? What do they do with the body and all these things? You really think that Esau ain't using certain body parts for stem cells, certain body parts for organ harvesting for their own? Come on, Israel, y'all got to wake up. Stop being foolish. Stop being this degenerate plant. All right, read that. Isaiah 5:11.
Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 11. Woe unto them that rise up early in the morning, that they may follow strong drink, that continue unto night till wine inflame them.
So now it says until wine inflamed them. Now this is them drinking so much, now they're inflamed, meaning they're going to do some form of wickedness now. They drunk and high at the same time. And that getting high is a form of witchcraft, Israel. You're altering your perception and opening up doors that shouldn't be open. And then when you what they call it, chasing the dragon. You chasing the dragon, you get that first high. Now you trying to get even higher. Now the narcotics pick up. We're not supposed to be living this type of life. We actually have the one true God. I can understand the other nations doing it. They don't have a God. They don't have a God to worship. That's all they have. But outside of us, we have a God to worship. We don't need wine. We don't need whores. We don't need drugs. But why is that perpetuated in our community? I'm showing you these are the little micro changes that causes us to be degenerate. Bad eating habits, bad feasting habits at these wicked holidays and these wicked festivals. Drunkenness to the highest. Whoredom to the highest degree. All right, jump over to Hosea 4:11 now. So now in Isaiah 5:11, we actually read that now these men wake up early to drink. Well, you have to wake up early to drink, and then your excuse is, oh, it's 5 o'clock somewhere in the world. You are a drunk. You're drunk. You need spiritual counsel. You need help. You need to stop drinking yourself into a stupor. You need to find out, why are you doing the drinking? Why are you indulging in drunkenness? Why are you indulging in whoredom? All these weird practices and rites, trying to chase every woman you see. Why do you need every woman? And then when the Lord plague your behind, now you trying to call out for the Lord. It don't work like that, Israel. Hosea 4:11.
Hosea chapter 4 and verse 11. Whoredom and wine and new wine take away the heart.
Read that again.
Whoredom and wine and new wine take away the heart.
So whoredom, wine, and new wine take away the mind. So it's no different when you read in Sirach, where it says wine and women leads to destruction. It's all the same thing. One, they both cost a lot of money. You're going to be destroyed in your finances. Then you're going to get destroyed with the wine in your mind. And then that new wine, we're going to get into that. That new wine going to the doctrines now you following. Then you get destroyed by the woman. And then how you get destroyed by the woman? She can either set you up, take your stuff, take your life, or give you the package. And now you got the forever cold. You can never get rid of that cold. You don't want the forever cold now. All right, keep reading.
Verse 11. Whoredom and wine and new wine take away the heart. My people ask counsel at their stocks.
So we ask counsel at the stocks. These are these idols. So now because we're asking counsel at these stocks, what is this going into? When you look at our brothers and sisters, the degeneracy happened, of course, it happened subtly. It happened through our elder, or our elders at that time, wicked of them, they seduced us with the idea to follow after another god or an ordinance of a king that went against God's commandments. Then when that king got a foothold, he then implied or enforced laws to force us to serve him and to break God's law. It's all degeneracy. And then there's steps to it. It's layers to it. Now we're going into us looking for advice to stocks, going to these false idols and talking to it like it has life and looking for advice out of these things. Where do they do that in today? It's called the church house. We're going to read church right now. Keep reading.
Isaiah chapter 4, verse 12.
Uh-huh.
My people ask counsel at their stocks, and their staff declareth unto them, for the spirit of whoredoms has caused them to err,
Uh-huh.
and they have gone a whoring from under their God.
So we have gone a whoring. So now this is going into spiritual whoredom. Now we're serving other gods outside of our God. Think about it. Think about it. It's a relationship. For us to serve our God is us to show that we love him. For us to keep the dietary law that he set for us shows that we love him. To keep the high holy days that he created for us or for our sake shows that we love him. To honor our father and mother and our leader figures shows that we love our God. But then when we go against those things, now we're whoring against our God and trying to join ourselves to another God, something that God did not tell us to do. Let's keep reading though.
Verse 13.
Read.
They sacrifice upon the tops of the mountains,
Read.
and burn incense upon the hills, under the oaks and poplars and elms, because the shadow thereof is good. Therefore your daughters shall commit whoredom, and your spouses shall commit adultery.
So now they went into these mountaintops to celebrate whatever God that they was worshiping. It's no different. And then they use the trees for cover. Like, oh, we're doing it in secrecy. It's no different from now. The Bacchanal, the Carnival, the Mardi Gras, they do the same thing. They do the same debauchery. And there be pastors out there that's not even correcting the people. They're indulging in the festivities. Then it says, read that last part again about our daughters.
Therefore your daughters shall commit whoredom.
So our daughters are going to commit whoredom. What is that? They're going to be sleeping around with Tom, Dick, Harry, and then they'll even mess around with other nations in the midst of these festivals. Keep reading.
And your spouses shall commit adultery.
And your spouses, your wives, are going to commit adultery. Your wives are going to sleep with other men. Your wives are going to sleep with other women and fulfill their lusts. To do what? To serve other gods outside of the God of Israel. These are the things that happen at these events. Heck, if I'm not mistaken, it was passing out condoms and liquor too. These things happen at those events. And the women dress very provocatively because they understand that, hey, this is my time to come up. I'm about to be the biggest hoe I can be. And I'm telling you, whores and hoes don't get cold. They don't. They will wear all the whorish fashions in 20-degree weather and not feel a thing because they are burning. They don't feel nothing externally cold. All right, let's finish that out. So now we see that our wives are going to commit whoredom and our daughters are going to commit whoredom. Read.
Verse 14. I will not punish your daughters when they commit whoredom, nor your spouses when they commit adultery.
Read.
For themselves are separated with whores.
With what?
Whores.
So with whores come a fashion trend. Let's hold that real quick. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 19, start at 29. With a whore comes a fashion trend. Everybody has a certain fashion trend. Everybody. Doctors, police, army, who else? Teachers. Everybody have a code. Even in the business world, when you come in corporate America, they have the blue collar. Then you have the casual wear. Then you have the different business suits. In every profession or every realm, there is a dress code. Even with the doctors and the nurses, they wear scrubs. But you think there ain't no dress code with whores, gangsters, or whores, niggas, and degenerate people? Yes, there's dress codes for them too. Let's read that.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 19 and verse 29. A man shall be known by his look.
A man shall be known by what?
His look.
So the Bible is saying, yes, I can judge a book by its cover. If it look like a duck, sound like a duck, and quack like a duck, 9 times out of 10, it's a duck. It's a duck. If a man were to wear a police uniform and he's an actor and you didn't know that, and you went up to him and something happened, and you came up to him like, hey, somebody tried to break in this, that, and the third. Oh no, I'm just an actor. I'm not a policeman. But wait a minute. You're wearing the costume of a policeman. You're wearing the uniform of a policeman. So everybody has a uniform. Everybody on the planet Earth has a uniform, whether you know it or not. Let's finish that out.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 19 verse 29.
Yes, sir.
And a man shall be known by his look, and one that hath understanding by his countenance.
So a man shall be known by his look. How you look, how you present yourself is what the world see. I was talking to a brother, and he had a shirt on called In Glock We Trust. And I was telling him, bro, you're actually talking to me without even saying nothing. A lot of us don't understand that we are actually communicating with one another non-verbally 75% of the time. The way I look, the way I dress, the way I present myself, the way I feel about myself, I'm going to show you through action versus me telling you. You can know if somebody care about something by how they handle that situation or how they look in that situation. You can tell if they care or not. If they look disheveled, unkempt, things like that, you can tell that they don't care about their appearance. But it also goes into they're not holding their appearance in high regard, but they're holding something else in high regard. But all communication, 75% or more of our communication is non-verbal. That's why the scriptures is saying this. That yes, we can tell how or what a man is by how he looks, what his face or countenance look like. We can see if a man is serious or if he really believes what he's saying. We could tell these things. This is that intuition that we have, that we was imparted with, that we could discern if somebody is BSing you or if they really telling the truth. Finish that out. Keep reading.
When thou meetest him. Verse 30. A man's attire and excessive laughter and gait show what he is.
So your attire and sense of laughter, meaning it goes into your countenance, how you carry yourself. It show what type of man or woman you are. So, going back to the whoredom and the hoes, if you dressing provocatively, if you are showing skin, if you are not wearing undergarments and letting all the world see what you got working with, yes, you are in the attire of a harlot. You're in the attire of a whore or a hoe of today's standard. You're showing yourself. You're presenting your body to the world. For what? It ain't for, can't say that. Because in today's standard, women are going with women, men going with men, and women are trying to go with men too. So when you are projecting this sexual energy, this sexy look, what does sexy bring? It brings sex. And what does sex bring? It brings a plethora of things. If you are not married, it's going to bring a child, unwanted. It's going to bring disease. It's going to break up relations with other people that you was probably dealing with. It brings so many different problems when you're not married. Sex brings a lot of problems when you're not married. Is that it on that?
Yes, sir.
Read it again. Read it one more time. Because we got to know. The Lord said in Hosea 4 that he's not going to punish the whoredom of the daughter nor the spouse. We got to see why. It's the clothing. So now we're seeing another facet of why we're becoming degenerate. Our clothing don't even show that we're royal people. It doesn't. We looking like stereotypical gangsters and hoes. That's it. Read that.
Ecclesiastes chapter 19 and verse 30.
Read.
A man's attire and excessive laughter and gait show what he is.
So it shows what kind of man or woman you are. So yes, if you dressing sexy, that means you're dressing like a harlot. You're dressing like a whore. You're bringing sexual attention upon self, and you're going to get abused. You're going to get abused with the sex. That's what makes whores. They get abused with sex, and now they push it on other people. All it is trauma. They're passing their trauma to somebody else. What's the saying? Hurt people hurt people. That's all they're doing. They're not healing. They're hurting other people by spreading that trauma on and on. And then some of these women even target young boys and spread that trauma to them, and the cycle continues. Go to Hosea now. Hosea chapter 4 and verse 14 again.
Hosea chapter 4 and verse 14.
Uh-huh.
I will not punish your daughters when they commit whoredom,
Read.
nor your spouses when they commit adultery.
Read.
For themselves are separated with whores, and they sacrifice with harlots.
Read.
Therefore the people that does not understand shall fall.
So the people that don't understand, especially judgment, God's law, they're going to fall to this. They're going to fall prey to their daughters being whores. They're going to fall prey of their wives falling away. Because those people don't believe. They don't have a bone of judgment in their body, because now they're going off into whoredom. Now, jump over to Ezekiel 16 now. So that's still the physical side of it, right? But let's get it into the spiritual side, because it's still being perpetuated today. It's still being perpetuated today. Ezekiel 16:24. We're just reading 24 and 25.
Ezekiel chapter 16 and verse 24.
Uh-huh.
That thou hast also built unto thee an eminent place.
So an eminent place is a place that is esteemed as important or of high regards amongst a certain circle of people, right? Keep reading.
And has made thee an high place in every street.
Uh-huh.
Thou hast built thy high place at every head of the way.
So in the black community, we have a church pretty much on every street corner. But I want y'all to really think about this. It's a church almost on every street corner, but it's the basement in our community. Let's see why. Keep reading.
And has made thy beauty to be abhorred.
So the church is the most beautiful thing in a busted neighborhood. You will see a church house. The lawn is manicured. The building is upkept. But then right behind it, it's an abandoned house with cardboard boarded up. It looks terrible. Then down the street, the whole community round about it is dilapidated. Looked like a hurricane hit it, and nobody repaired anything. That's the beauty of the church would then be hated at that point. Because now it's like, wait a minute. Why is it that the money or the resources of the community is staying here and not being perpetuated out? Why? Keep reading.
And has opened thy feet to everyone that passes by, and multiply thy whoredoms.
So going back to Bacchus, the whoredom that goes on at these festivals, the church doesn't do anything for our community, because the church is that same hoe that we was just talking about. What is the attributes of the whore? They beautify themselves or try to allure themselves with beauty to then try to seduce someone. The church do the same thing. They look a certain way. to seduce followers to come into their doors. Then it says it opens its feet to every spirit that comes into it. Doesn't a whore do the same thing? She opened up her legs to every Tom, Dick, and Harry to go into her, just like the church opened up their doors to every unclean spirit and say, you are clean in Christ Jesus. You can come as you are. That's the same mindset. And then a whore presents herself at the corners of the streets. A church is at every corner of the street presenting itself for unclean spirits to come into her, to multiply their whoredoms. And we're going to get into those whoredoms. Is that it on 25?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let's go to Joel. Joel chapter 1. 1 and 5. Let's see what is being multiplied in these churches, because it says the whoredom. Not just the sexual part. We're going into the spiritual whoredom. Serving another God, serving another deity, following other rites outside of our God's commandments. Joel chapter 1 verse 5.
Joel chapter 1 and verse 5.
Read.
The word of the Lord that came to Joel, the son of Pethuel. Hear this, ye old men.
Not 1 and 5.
I'm sorry.
This is awake.
Verse 5.
Uh-huh.
Awake, ye drunkards, and weep, and howl, all you drinkers of wine, because of the new wine, for it is cut off from your mouth.
So the new wine is cut off from the mouth. Why though? Why? Why is it cut off? Micah 2:11. Let's see why is it cut off. Because now it's saying that we're being introduced with new wine. New wine. Why is it new? Is it really going into drunkardness of the bottle? Let's see. Micah chapter 2 verse 11.
Micah chapter 2 and verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
If a man walking in the spirit and falsehood do lie, saying, I will prophesy unto thee of wine and of strong drink, he shall even be the prophet of this people.
So it says the spirit and falsehood do lie, saying, I will prophesy unto thee of wine and strong drink. So that wine and strong drink is the falsehoods that he's lying to the people about. This is what's perpetuated in the churches. Hence, you would have celebrations of Valentine's Day. You would have professions of Bacchus. You would have Mardi Gras. And you would have Christian pastors in the midst of this stuff, not correcting the people, telling them to enjoy themselves, be happy, love each other. It's crazy nonsense. This is why the whoredoms are perpetuated. This is why we see a degeneration of ourselves. Now we started with the elders of us, and these elders are these weak pastors telling us every God-forsaken thing to break God's commandments. Give me that in Deuteronomy 13 and 1. I'm sorry. Deuteronomy 13 and 1. Let's see what the law say, what we should do to those that talk in falsehoods. What should we as Israel do to those type of spirits? Let's see.
Deuteronomy chapter 13 and verse 1.
Read.
If there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and giveth thee a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder come to pass, whereof he spake unto thee, saying, let us go after other gods which thou hast not known, and let us serve them. Thou shalt not hearken unto the words of that prophet.
We are not supposed to listen to that type of prophet. Why? God has in the law how to identify a false prophet. But because we don't read as a nation, a lot of us don't know how to exercise the spirit of discernment. So that's another flaw that caused us to deteriorate. We're not reading to educate ourselves. We watch a video and we think we got it. A lot of us in this microwave generation, we will watch YouTube and think that we have an understanding of a subject matter when it's just a snippet of 10 minutes to probably and then on TikTok it's even shorter. It's 30 seconds to 3 minutes. And then we think we understand things. No, you have to read. You have to actually dive in to different books outside of articles online, because articles online can always be altered, Israel. Books, however, it takes longer, way longer, and too much of a process to alter the information in a book versus online. Online, it can change like that. One day they'll have a saying that the beginning of the week is Sunday, then they'll change that thing quick and say that the beginning of the week is Monday. And have everybody believe it, because everybody does not like to read. Give me that in Revelations 1 real quick. Revelations 1 and 1. No, 1 and 3, I'm sorry. 1 and 3. Give me that real quick.
Revelations chapter 1 and verse 3.
Read.
Blessed is he that readeth.
Blessed is he that what?
Readeth.
So if you don't read, Israel, you're not blessed. I'm just cut to the chase. If you're not reading, you're not a blessed man or woman. You're not. How? Keep reading.
And they that hear the words of this prophecy and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand.
So if you read and listen and then you keep what you hear, then you're blessed. If you're not reading and keeping nothing, if you're not listening and keeping nothing, you're not a blessed individual. Hence, that's why we got brothers and sisters out twerking. You have brothers trying to change their sexual orientation to fool foolish men to think that they're a woman. It's craziness out here. And this is why we're degenerate. We lost the commandments of our God, and then we didn't want to do them. Now we're following the rights of another God, meaning the other nations now. And because we're following the other nations, it's causing us to look crazy as a nation. And this is how we're become degenerate. We forsook our dietary law. We forsook our royal attire. We're dressing more debased than any people on the planet Earth. You can't tell me hip-hop is our culture. You cannot tell me that when we precede hip-hop itself. Is that it on that, Soldier? I think so.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's go to 1 Corinthians 15:33. Because with this, the spiritual drunkenness that our brothers and sisters are in, this spiritual stupor, they believe anything and they don't challenge nothing. So now that they are being taught these falsehoods and they're drinking of this new wine, now we see that our brothers and sisters are drunk in the mind. They're drunk with philosophies that go against God's commandments. And now they're also whores according to the commandments, because they're serving other gods outside of the God of Israel. So I'm showing you that there's a correlation with false deities, whores, and wine. And it perpetuates on a physical level, and on the spiritual level, we become stupid as a nation, sottish as a nation. All right, read that. 1 Corinthians 15:33. Yes, sir. 15:33.
1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 33.
Read.
Be not deceived. Evil communication corrupt good manners.
So evil communication corrupts good manners. How do we communicate to each other? We communicate with each other with our clothing. We communicate with each other through music. We communicate with each other through all these different mediums. So when our enemies, Amalek primarily, when they control these things, now we're perpetuating hatred, destruction, evil to our own people to keep them in that cycle. Even at these carnivals and Mardi Gras, the music is very debased, causing them to continue in their reveling. And even the lyrics tell them to continue in their reveling. Now, Hosea 4, verse 1. And with all the drinking, this is what comes from it. We're going to read this. This is all the drinking, all that partying. This is what comes of it. Read that.
Hosea chapter 4 and verse 1.
Read.
Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel.
Uh-huh.
For the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land,
The Lord has a problem with the Israelites right now. Read.
because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land.
God's laws are not being taught in the land. So God is not going to have mercy on us, meaning he's going to render judgment because there's no truth of his commandments coming out. Read.
Verse 2. By swearing and lying
Uh-huh.
and killing
And what?
and killing
And killing. Read.
and stealing
Read.
and committing adultery,
Uh-huh.
they break out, and blood touches blood.
So now we see that there's high murder rates. Now we see that the stealing is in our communities. Now we see that the killing is in our communities. The lying one to another, defrauding your neighbor. We see all that on a high. And the committing of adultery. All the whoremongering going on. And the married brothers and sisters in the world going to what? Going into their lust. Finding whores, and then the wives finding other men or other women to fulfill their lust. Keep reading. Verse 11, I'm sorry. Jump down to verse 11.
Hosea chapter 4 and verse 11. Whoredom and wine and new wine take away the heart.
So whoredom and wine and new wine take away the mind. Read.
My people ask counsel at their stocks.
All right, so now this is going back into the people asking counsel after rocks. But now, let's see that. Now we become degenerate. Now we're in these parties. We serve Bacchus. Now we're in Mardi Gras. We're in drunkenness. We're in whoredom. And because of that drunkenness, it inflames us. Now it makes us a murderous nation. Now give me that that video. Give me the one about Bessemer first. Give me that one. Because this is these are the conditions that we live in, Israel. We're going to show it pretty soon. But these are the conditions that we live in, where lying is high, stealing, killing, and whoredom is on a high rate. This shows that we're serving another God in our communities and not the God of Israel. Read that. Play that. Play that real quick.
This is the most dangerous city in the United States. It's Bessemer, Alabama, found just west of Birmingham, and it has a violent crime rate of 33 per 1,000 residents, almost 9 times more than the national average. The town has a population of 26,000 and presents a blend of everyday life, but also is home to an eerie abundance of abandoned structures, ranging from historic residences to shopping malls and even football fields. But the town does boast some culinary gems like Bright Star, the oldest restaurant in Alabama, serving up renowned snapper and gumbo. Additionally, Bessemer marks the birthplace of several notable figures. Heisman winner Jameis Winston is from here.
So, it says that Bessemer is the highest in the United States right now with killing. But we just read about the different things that constitutes that. Because there's no laws in the land, the killing is on a high rate. Because who are they killing unto? They're killing unto those other deities that they're serving in their mind. There was a brother that we spoke to not too far from Legion Field. And he said that killing is easy. And didn't he say it's fun too? He said it's easy. He said, oh yeah, killing somebody is easy now. Like, and this is the mindset that the youth have in their mind because there's no laws in the land. So now they're killing, they're stealing. And then you saw it was a snapshot of an old Walmart that used to be in Bessemer at that location. It closed down. It closed down because there was too much stealing going on. Way too much stealing. And they had to close it down because it was losing money. So because the residents was stealing from the store, now their houses look dilapidated and people live there too. Some of those houses look abandoned, but people live there. Pay electric bill and everything. And that's how it looks. Why is it that the neighborhoods look like a third world country where the crime rate is crazy high. And then the people of that land the people of that city don't see nothing wrong with that. And then he tried to smooth it over with some funky snapper and some unclean gumbo. Are you kidding me? That don't make nothing a prize gem. Trust me. When I moved here and I started talking to the congregation, they was like, hey, Bessemer different. They different out there. And we've been to Bessemer plenty times. They are different. They the way they think is different. Way different. All right, give me the next article or the next video with the police chief. Now, this that we're about to show you, it happened this week. It happened Thursday, Friday. Yeah, Thursday and Friday of this week. So let's see this.
Suffered 135 homicides in our city, which is an alarming number. To sit here and lose 6 community members in one day is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Where does the 6
The 4th person passed away. So we have lost, Birmingham, we have lost 6 of our community members in one day. That is ridiculous. We are going to make national news. We might make international news. 6 homicides in Birmingham in less than 24 hours. It's ridiculous.
The 4th victim that was in surgery at UAB
Passed away.
Okay.
We have lost 6 of our brothers and sisters today due to violence.
How do you get the message across?
Well, first and foremost, we get the message to the public that as long as we keep quiet, people are going to feel emboldened to do violence the way they've been conducting violence.
Stop right there.
We live in a culture
Give
where
me Leviticus 5:1. What the officer said is 100% true. If you keep quiet, the evil people are going to feel emboldened to keep doing their evil because there's no consequence coming from their evil. So they're just going to keep doing it until that evil hits your doorstep. Give me Leviticus 5:1. This is what we need to institute back into our community. This was something that fell off because the people started to fear the gang members. The people started to fear the drug dealers, not knowing that the people actually have the power. The drug dealers and the gang members and the whores and the pimps, they are actually the minority of our community, if y'all didn't know that. Read that.
Leviticus chapter 5 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And if a soul sin
Read.
and hear the voice of swearing,
Read.
and it is witnessed, whether he hath seen or known of it,
Uh-huh.
if he do not utter it, then he shall bear his iniquity.
So you're going to bear the sin of that person that you did not utter. So that means if you see evil, you must report the evil. Why is it that we don't like to report evil that happens and we keep a tight lip? Because most of us are scared. Most of us are scared. If we see evil, if you have a Ring camera and you see evil, just call the police. They don't have to know who did it, who called. Call the police, tell them what's going on. If you've seen the license plate, let the police know. Let them do their job. Their job is to really protect the property of the community. If there's people vandalizing, if there's people selling drugs, bringing the property value down of a community, we just saw Bessemer. It looked crazy over there. So if they're bringing the property value down by selling drugs, by selling women, and bringing them into whoredom, stop the madness, Israel. Report the evil. And what the officer said was spot on. This type of evil needs to be reported because this will stop all the evil that's going on in our community. If we were to report of gang members and drug dealers and all this stuff, they won't feel emboldened to keep doing their evil. Finish that video real quick. I know we run low on time.
You can shoot 4 people in broad daylight and nobody has come forward yet.
Because they're not keeping
We
the laws of
live in
God.
a society where you can kill somebody in the middle of a Birmingham street and no one sees anything. And the issue we have is we do our best to disassociate ourselves from crime. Prime example, I speak to people on the east side sometimes about situations that happen on the west side. You know what they say? Oh, well, that happened on the west side.
All
I
right,
live
you
on
can
the east
stop right
side.
there.
I speak to people.
So now the officer is really just saying that there's really no honest people in the community. There isn't. They'll see the evil and just keep it moving, and then they have the nerve to say no snitching. Negro. Yeah, snitches get stitches. Negro. You know what a snitch is? A snitch is somebody that was in the evil and rats out the people that they was working with. That's a snitch. If you just see evil, you just telling on a wicked Negro. That's it. You ain't snitching. You don't want the evil to be there. So nigga be gone. That's what you're doing. That's not snitching. When are we gonna get tired? And then they mentioned about the brothers, the 4 brothers that died. I do want to mention that. And one of the brothers was known, and he was actually wrong place, wrong time. He was hanging out with friends that was involved in some mess, and he got killed for it. Give me that real quick in Proverbs 22:24. 22:24.
Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 24.
Read.
Make no friendship with an angry man,
Read.
and with a furious man thou shalt not go.
So we're not supposed to make friendships with men that we know that get into mess all the time. That is real quick to anger. You're not supposed to be cool with those type of men. They're gonna get you killed. Read. Verse 25.
Verse 25. Lest thou learn his ways, and get a snare to thy soul.
So you're gonna be inclined to learn his spirit. Because why? You have to act like him in the environment that he's in now. And now you're going to cause your soul to be trapped there. And where do those type of spirits hang out at? The trap. Doing what? Selling drugs. Selling women. This is what they do. So we're not supposed to incline our spirit unto spirits like that. When you see an angry man or a furious man, somebody of that wavelength that's always upset, always angry all the time, separate yourself. Do not be around that type of person. Go down to Proverbs 29:22, and then we're going to end it with Proverbs 30:5.
Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 22.
Read.
An angry man stirreth up strife, and a furious man aboundeth in transgression.
So an angry man he's always going to be in mess. Always going to be in mess. And then it says, and a furious man aboundeth in transgressions, meaning a furious man will always break the laws of God. They're always going to be in the midst of wrath, anger, and perpetuate that wrath and anger, and it becomes murder. It becomes killing. It becomes stealing. These are the spirits or the attributes we need to stay away from, Israel. But we got to know how it looks, and then we got to report the evil. We got to. Finish this, Proverbs 30:5.
Proverbs chapter 30 and verse 5.
Read.
Every word of God is pure. He is a shield unto them that put their trust in him.
So every word of God is pure. All God spoke to us, Israel, is his commandments. All his commandments go to purity, meaning there's nothing evil about keeping God's commandments. And read that again.
Proverbs chapter 30 verse 5.
Uh-huh.
Every word of God is pure.
Read.
He is a shield unto them.
He's a what?
A shield unto them.
So if you keep God's words, he's going to be a shield unto you in this world. He's going to protect you from these furious souls, from these evil men that's trying to cause harm. God's law is going to protect you from that. Finish that out.
Every word of God is pure. He is a shield unto them that put their trust in him.
So we must, as a nation, put our trust in the Most High God and his laws to become that noble vine once again, Israel. So what did we learn today? We learned that, hey, we got to stay away from the Mardi Gras, the over partying, the whoredom, the drunkenness. And then all that stuff always leads to anger, and then that leads to killing. And as you can see here in Birmingham, we got a murderous drunkard spirit here. And it's a lot of whoredom going on here as well. But mostly from that drunkenness, it becomes killing. And it's a lot of senseless killing in this city. And it's going to stop because we are going to do something about it. All right. So that's going to conclude my class of today of the degenerate plant. So Lord's will, y'all brothers and sisters have learned some gems today. I'll praise the Most High. So stay tuned to Mid-Morning Medicine. Also, get your prayers up, because as you can see, there's a lot of evil happening in multiple cities, Israel, and a lot of troubles going on in the earth. Do your prayers. Send up your prayers in the morning, the afternoon, and the evening if you can. Keep it going, Israel, because we gotta increase in our prayers. We gotta increase in our fasting, because as you can see, hey, we just read an article. We just saw the videos. The evil is rising. So as the evil rise, the righteousness should rise to defeat that evil as well. All right. So shalom, Israel. Most High in Christ bless. I enjoyed teaching y'all brothers and sisters today. Officer Keaton out of Birmingham camp. Y'all have a good one. Shalom. Most High in Christ bless.